Oh, it's so beautiful today. This is my second walk. I was going to take a bike ride. There's a little breeze, and I hate to be wimpy about it, but sometimes when there's a breeze and it's coming against me, I just rather take a walk. It just feels a little more peaceful. So here's what's been in my mind. It's driving me crazy. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions, observations. I always have. But it almost always starts with a question. And then I sort of ponder and try to connect the dots. And this has been baffling me, not gonna lie, for a while. I started observing literally like 20 years ago, just the pace of life picking up and how everybody was so busy. And back then I've shared that I sort of termed it for myself the reverse movement of just actually wanting to go the opposite way. Instead of speeding up, instead of getting more busy, instead of adding more to my plate, I was thinking about the way things used to be when I was a kid and just how calm that felt inside. And how that was really a challenge to reach in our culture. Even for me now, I look at my life and I think, you know what? I am not married right now. My dog is no longer with me. I have a condo. And those words still come out of my mouth. Oh, I'm so busy here. Thinking I'm too busy to do that. Or how do I respond to that email? It's a long one. I better save it. Like I don't have the time. And I've been trying to connect those dots because I don't think it's about our work. I don't think it's about our jobs. I think of my husband. He traveled 4 days a week. He was really good at what he did and he loved it. Yeah, that was a little out of balance once in a while. But he was still home on the weekends. I just don't understand, and I'm suspect it's connected to something else. Because one of the things that happens when I meet with people about their homes is that there's something always deeper going on. When you let boxes sit for an extended period of time, or you have entire rooms that are just, like storage units, usually it's like loss, trauma of feeling overwhelmed. There's too many things in my life. And then there's this inability to let go. Like, I think I should do it for myself. I think I should do it one day. I like to do it. I'm good at doing it. So it just sits there, But what's at the root of that? What's at the root of being too busy to put first things first when you move or when you're creating a home? And I believe that it's our culture of having to prove and do everything by ourselves. Like, we don't realize that all these things that are brought into our life to supposedly make life easier actually add more to our plate. And I'll just give you one example, but I would love to know, like, if anybody else feels this, sees this, questions this. For example, I want to make a trip to Europe in fall to see my foreign exchange daughter get married. So there was a time where you would just pick up the phone and call the travel agent. Well, you don't now because you can do it so much cheaper yourself. You feel like you should. And I'm just going to tell you, there's so many parts and pieces to this trip that I think, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going. And then I've got to research that, or I've got to ask a friend about that. I've got to collect information and brainstorm and go on and play with airfare. And what's the bubble that's been over my head like a million times is, I just wish I could call a travel agent. They still exist, but when you now have the ability to do it yourself and save money, it's hard to pay that. And I think that is across the board, whether it's going to Home Depot, which I also love, but just not paying the handyman because you're going to go to Home Depot, you're going to do this on your own. And then it also has this other sort of negative effect. Besides putting more on our plates, also, aren't we sort of taking jobs out of our community and people that are good at what they do and specialize in those things? Yeah, I think there's a cost that comes with all of it. I do. And I think even for somebody like me that doesn't have 5 kids and doesn't have a big house anymore, it sets up a life of busyness with all these things I have to do. And there's, yeah, there's a compromise to all of it, no doubt. So just curious. I'd love to hear from anybody that wants to share about their observation about it. Have a great day.